And welcome into Penshack Sports Network Vocalized episode number 2. We're back for the second week. We are stoked again to be back. Again, our same guest is back here tonight, our analyst. We brought him back. You'll probably see him for decent amounts. Before we get any farther, let me just get the sponsors over with. First, the Selfie Spot AK Valley. They service the greater Pittsburgh area for all your photo booth needs. The Selfie Spot AK Valley can be at your birthdays, grad parties, weddings, school dances, and more. We are your modern-day photo booth, and we can't wait to be at your special day. Mention the Penshack Sports Network for a discount. Text the number 724-594-5538. Check out their Facebook and Instagram pages at the Selfie Spot AK Valley for more info and pictures from past events. And the We Serve First Foundation. The We Serve First Foundation helps the athletes with financial difficulties get the training they need to be successful on the court, in the classroom, and throughout their lives. The foundation has helped almost 120 kids get the advanced coaching in the sport of volleyball. The 2022 AVCA Sports and Ports Courage Award was presented to Tim Toy and the foundation. For more info, go to www.jamthegym.com. We'd love for you to sponsor us. Please go to the website homepage and scroll down until you see the logo entitled Sponsor Us, and the form will be there to fill out. We are going to go over who won for volleyball and both girls and boys soccer before we move on to football, which is what we're mainly here for. So we'll start off with volleyball. We'll go over who is qualifying for the state. First up, we'll do Class 1A volleyball. The winner is going to be Greensburg Central Catholic. They beat Fraser 3-0. They will qualify for the states. Same with Fraser and Eden Christian Academy. Greensburg Central, they first beat West Green and then went on to beat Beaver Co. Christian, and then finished Eden Christian Academy and finished beating Fraser. Next up is going to be Class 2A. The winner is going to be Quaker Valley. They beat Hopewell 3-0. They'll qualify for the state. Same with Hopewell, Neshannock, and Southmoreland. Quaker Valley started off beating Keystone Oaks, then went on to beat Elwood City, beat Southmoreland, and then finished off with, obviously, Hopewell. Then we move on to 3A. The winner is going to be Mars. I don't have the reported score, but they did beat Beaver. Mars went on. They first beat Albert Gallatin, and then beat Indiana, beat Freeport, and then obviously finally beat Beaver. And I also don't have who will qualify for states. Class 4A, North Allegheny beat North Catholic 3-1. North Allegheny started off with a bye, and then went on to play Armstrong and won 3-1, and then beat Upper St. Clair and finished off with North Catholic. North Catholic and North Allegheny will be your state qualifiers. And then moving on to boys soccer, we'll start off with Class 1A. The winner is going to be Bentworth. They beat OLSH. I don't have a score for that, but they did beat them. Qualifiers is going to be Bentworth and then Our Lady of the Sacred Heart and Eden Christian Academy. Bentworth started off beating California and then Trinity Christian, and then Beaver Co. Christian finished off with OLSH. And then we move on to 2A, boys soccer. The winner is going to be South Park. They beat Avonworth 1-0. First up, they beat Waynesburg Central, and then beat Central Valley, and then beat Burrell, and obviously beat Avonworth in the championship. South Park, Avonworth, and Deer Lakes will move on to the states. 3A, your winner is going to be Moon. They beat Franklin Regional 3-1. In the first round, Moon beat Bell Vernon, and then beat Hampton, and then beat Bethel Park, and then finished off with Franklin. Qualifiers for Class 3A are going to be Moon, Franklin, and Mars. And then Fox Chapel will be the championship for 4A. Fox Chapel beat Plum 1-0 in the championship. Fox Chapel started off with a bye and then beat Upper St. Clair and then Peters Township. Fox Chapel and Plum will go for the states. And finally, move on to girls. It'll be Class 1A, your championship, or champion is going to be Springdale. Springdale beat Winchester Thurston 1-0. Springdale started off beating Greensburg Central Catholic, and then Freedom Area, and then Swickley Academy, and obviously Winchester Thurston. The qualifiers are going to be both Springdale and Winchester Thurston with Seton LaSella. Class 2A is going to be Quaker Valley as your champion. Quaker Valley beat Burrell 2-1 in the championship. Quaker Valley first beat Southmoreland, and then Deer Lakes, and finally North Catholic in Burrell. Quaker Valley, Burrell, and North Catholic are going to be your state qualifiers. And finally, or not finally, Class 3A, your champion is going to be South Fayette. South Fayette beat Fox Chapel in the championship 4-0. South Fayette started off beating Kiski Area, and then Bethel Park, and then Mars, and finished obviously with Fox Chapel. The PIA qualifiers are obviously going to be South Fayette, Fox Chapel, and Mars. And finally, Class 4A. It is unannounced who won. I looked at the WPIAL many times throughout the week, and I just don't have a score for them. Peters Township and Seneca Valley played on Friday, November 1st at 6 p.m. So I don't know what the score is, but those are who played. So we are ready now to move on to football, Class 1A. Before we move on, we'd also like to talk about the All-Star Classic game. The WeStar First All-Star Classic volleyball tournament, I guess I should say. That takes place on December 7th at, I think, 4 o'clock is when all the games start. It'll be held live right here on the channel. If you can't make it to the game, obviously tune in on here. There'll be a special guest doing the commentary. It will not be me. So we're super excited for that day. December 7th. Probably go live around 3:15, 3:30. So just check it out there. And then obviously we're ready for the football. We'd like to welcome back our guest, Rob Penchak, a 1994 Kiski Area High School graduate. That was a lineman when he played football. Tonight we'll be going over who won in the first round, and he'll move on in the scores, and then he'll predict moving on to the second round of playoffs. So we'll send it over to Rob. We thank you again for being here tonight.
All right, guys, here we are. Jeez, oh man. All right, we'll do the 1A bracket first. Fort Cherry beat Brentwood 56-14, and Cornell took out Leechburg 34-20. Jeanette beat Neshannock 23-7. Greensburg Central beat Monessen 54-38. On the other side of the bracket, Clairton blanked Rochester 56-0. California upset Laurel 22-6. Bishop Canavan beat Bentworth 56-0. And Southside upset Jefferson Morgan 39-30. So that means your number one seed Fort Cherry plays Cornell. Fort Cherry's quarterback just signed with Penn State. They're obviously undefeated, so they're going to beat Cornell. And then Jeanette is the 13th seed playing number 5 Greensburg Central. Greensburg Central beat them in the regular season, but we have Jeanette alumni in our family, so we are going to go with Jeanette on an upset. And then number 2 Clairton will play number 10 California. It's no disrespect, but it's Clairton. And then Bishop Canavan's the 3rd seed, and they have number 11 Southside, and I'm going with Bishop Canavan on that game also. The 2A brackets, Seton LaSalle had a bye as the 1 seed, and then Riverside beat Our Lady of Sacred Heart. Still Valley beat Washington, and Western Beaver beat Carlinton on that side of the bracket. And then the other side, South Park and Elwood City both had byes. So Mohawk took care of Keystone Oaks, and South Allegheny beat Waynesburg Central 53-14. So you've got the 1 seed is Seton LaSalle versus number 9 Riverside. Seton LaSalle would be my pick. And then Still Valley and Western Beaver, they're both the 4th and 5th seed. I'm going to go with Still Valley on that one. And then pretty basic bracket. I went basically with the top 4 seeds. South Park versus Mohawk. I'm going to go with South Park. And Elwood City is undefeated, playing South Allegheny, and I'm going to go with those boys there too.
Oopsie, sorry about that. All right, we're back. Before we move on, next week will be the same style video. We'll go over brackets. But coming up, episode number 4, we're gonna have our very first Q&A. We'll bring in a past basketball player, and then the following week we'll have another Q&A. I'm not gonna announce that one yet, and then that'll kick us off for the upcoming basketball season, which we are pumped for. And then we'll try to stay with it throughout the month of December, January, and all that, but there may be a few we miss or will be moved. We'll keep you posted on that one. So we'll move on to Class 3A, Class 4A, and we'll see how those brackets are looking.
All right, the 3A bracket. These next two are pretty quick. Imani was the 1 seed, Beaver's the 4th seed, Central's 2nd, and Elizabeth Forward is the 3rd seed. All 4 of those teams had a bye. So Elizabeth Forward is now going to play North Catholic. They upset Deer Lakes 21-14. And then Freeport beat Mount Pleasant 44-20. So it's going to be Central versus Freeport. I know Freeport's AK Valley, but Central Valley's just good. So I'm picking them, and then I'm picking Elizabeth Forward over top of North Catholic. And then in the other bracket, Imani versus Highlands. Imani's just on a tear, so I'm going to stay with them. And then Beaver will play Avonworth, who Avonworth beat Greensburg-Salem. I was going back and forth on this, but I think I'm going to stick with Beaver on this matchup. So that's who I picked. And then the 4A bracket is really simple. They're already into their semifinals. More or less kind of like the 6A bracket. So you've got Thomas Jefferson beat West A 28-7. And Aliquippa beat Trinity 34-14. And then on the other side, Mars upset Montour 48-42, and McKeesport handled their business against Bell Vernon. So you have the number 7 Mars team versus McKeesport as a 3 seed. I'm going with McKeesport. And then you have number 1 seeded TJ against Aliquippa. I mean, that's a tough one because Aliquippa's history, but Thomas Jefferson looks strong, so I'm gonna pick them to end up in a championship game against McKeesport.
Alrighty. And an update on where you can watch these podcasts. You can still watch them under the videos tab, but for your convenience, if you go on to obviously like the homepage of our YouTube channel, there is now a spot entitled Podcasts. When you click on it, it'll show up with Penshack Sports Network Vocalized. You can click on it, and you'll get a whole, all the podcasts will be in one area. Vocalized, yes. And then there is a playlist tab too. It's under there too. And if you download the YouTube Music app, you can actually go on there and watch all our podcasts. So you can go on that app. You can turn them on and put them on like your car or speaker or whatever, or you can do it off the YouTube app. So that's kind of cool. So we'll send it over for the last bracket we're going to analyze tonight because 6A obviously did not play. I think they play this upcoming week. I'm not sure about that. Our analyst will get you hooked up here on 5A.
Well, Nate, we're actually going to do 6A because they play this week. It's only a 14 bracket. So Central was the 1 seed. NA North Allegheny was 2. Mount Lebanon is the 3rd seed, and Seneca Valley is the 4th. NA versus Mount Lebo. Picking North Allegheny. And Central is against Seneca, and it's going to be Central Catholic versus North Allegheny at Norwin next Saturday for the championship, in my opinion. And then the 5A bracket, there were 4 byes for last week. So your first seed was Pine Richland, second seed Upper St. Clair, third seed is Peters Township, and number 4 Woodland Hills. All 4 of those teams are on a bye. So number 8 North Hills versus number 9 Franklin. Franklin pulled it out 17-16, so they will play Pine Richland. And Bethel took on Greater Latrobe. Greater Latrobe had a lot of injuries, so I mean they kind of got smoked. It's 42-7. And then on the other side of the bracket, Penn Hills is the 7th seed, Moon was the 10th. I didn't see much on that game, but Nate's brother Ben had said Moon was tough, so Penn Hills won by 3, so I guess it was a good game. And then the winner of Penn Trafford and South Fayette was Penn Trafford, 49-28, so they will play Peters Township. And I'll start there. So you have your 3 seed Peters versus your number 6 Penn Trafford. I just like Penn Trafford. They're in our section with Kiski. So I'm gonna stick with those guys. And then I have Upper St. Clair versus Penn Hills. That was another tough one to pick, but Upper St. Clair is not lost. I mean, they had probably the rights to be the 1 seed, but Pine Richland's strong. And Pine Richland only had 1 loss, which was to North Allegheny, but they beat Central Catholic, and Central Catholic's the 1 seed in 6A. So on that side, Penn Trafford and Franklin, I'm going to go with Pine Richland. I might have said that wrong, but yeah, Pine Richland over Franklin. And then Woody High against Bethel Park. Saw Woody High. I believe their number 1 quarterback is still hurt. But it was Kiski's last game. We were down there. And Scoop Smith is crazy good. So I'm going to go with Woody High. So you're going to have Pine Richland versus Woody High in the semis next week. And then Upper St. Clair versus Penn Trafford.
Alrighty, so there's all the brackets this week. When Rob played, did you guys make the playoffs?
Not my senior year, or I don't know. God, that was 30 years ago.
All right, are there any experiences you want to share, like during the playoff games when you played?
I mean, not really. It was way different back then. There was only 4 classifications, and we were in the Quad A. We were undersized every week, so we had the likes of. Back then, we were with like Central Catholic, McKeesport, Penn Hills. Trying to think who else. We played Mount Lebo. It was tough. It was good times, but yeah, I don't honestly. It's 30 years ago, so sorry, dude.
Alrighty. So that was all 5, or I guess 6 brackets. Again, if you want to watch any of those games, you have to go to nfhs.com or the NFHS network. They'll have all those there. You do have to pay the price of, I think, $12. I think almost all the games are on there, so that's nice. But that was kind of all we had on the schedule. We'll send it over to Rob for his last remarks before we end tonight.
All right, so I know the Steelers finally got a wide receiver. They picked up Mike Williams from the Jets, who was formerly with the Chargers, I think, for like a 5th-round pick. So that should help us. Should be a great game on Sunday. They're at 1 o'clock at Washington. Taylor Kidd for Washington's really on a tear at playing quarterback, so should be good. Should be a good game. We got a little bit more depth at wide receiver. I think we signed a rush end. I can't think of his. I think it's Preston Smith. I don't know about him, but I was talking to Ben earlier, and he said that was a good signing also. So see what happens. Detroit Lions are unreal. They're fun to watch. Chiefs squeaked out one last night against Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay tied it up late in regulation. I probably would have went for 2 just to at that point, because if you lose a coin flip, which is what happened in overtime, and then Mahomes just led them down the field for a touchdown, and then you don't even get to touch the ball. So I think they should change that rule. I think no matter what, both teams should touch the ball in overtime. But who knows? That's about it, Nate.
All right, down in the comments of this video, let us know if next week we should do a little NFL, going over a little bit of that, because that's a big sport right now in. We'll dive deeper into that than just like a little skim over. So just put it in the comments or shoot us an email at penchecksportsnetwork@gmail.com. That is pinned on the website. The website got a little updated here. In the tab, there's now the podcast. Again, that'll have each video there or episode you can click on. Has the link to the channel. Has a little information, but not a lot. So that's on there. Every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Tune in. This has been episode number 2. Next week, episode number 3. Probably same deal. Episode number 4 and 5 will be a little different. So we thank you for tuning in.
Is the email new? That's new, right?
I haven't really pushed it out, but it's been here.
For Halloween.
Oh yeah, for Halloween we are broadcasters. We were going around. We had signs trying to gain some subscribers. I don't know if it worked, but it was fun to doing it. We'll send it over, or not? We're not sending it over, but it's been Nate.
Rob, you don't have to spin that thing around. You gotta get another mic, bro.
We should get another mic. We probably won't get another mic till like December, maybe even January.
Not in the budget.
But
Have a budget.
but we're trying here tonight. So we'll definitely upgrade the mic system.
I want headphones too.
And he's now yelling for headphones. All right. Well, this has been episode number 2. I hope it's better than episode number 1. I think it is. Looks like it went. But yeah, let us know in the comments if we should do any professional sports. We'll break it down a little bit more. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. It has been on the Pencheck Sports Network, Vocalize. Don't forget, you can watch us on the YouTube Music app. And we are out.